Hi, I'm Brad Frey, Music Supervisor here at AIVA Technologies, back with another free update to the online music engine. And I'm not going to waste any time. Let's just hop on and I'll show you all the good stuff that we've added today. Okay, so small thing that you may notice, you can now see the BPM and time signature information in the My Track window for the tracks that you've generated. Just a small thing that a few of you requested, but let's go on into the piano roll, check out some of the good stuff. We've got a few options here now for you to edit your pieces when you're in edit mode, starting with the dynamic changes. So if you click this icon here, you can see now this is the dynamic information of the track, and you can easily adjust this or draw in your own dynamic curves just by simply clicking and drawing in this window and doing whatever sorts of dynamic things you want. If you're not happy with the dynamic track that was automatically generated by AIVA. You can also go down here to the settings icon. You'll see a few new things here. First of all, before you could only transpose the octaves in 2 octaves in either direction. You can now do it by 3, so just be aware of that. And in addition to the dynamic offset, you can now apply a total volume offset to the track. And I do want to say that I would recommend first adjusting dynamics first, because that will affect the timbre of the instrument in most cases. It should already be fairly well balanced across the different instruments, but just be aware of the difference between adjusting volume and adjusting dynamics. And also, you've got a new panning knob, so if you feel like playing with that, you can now do that. Also, the resolution with which you can edit these colored blocks has now been increased, I guess, to a quarter note rather than a bar. So if you want to drag this around, you're not limited to simply doing it here or here. You can now do it in the middle by, again, a beat resolution. For drums, you can now add extra drum parts if that's what you want. So you can combine sounds of different drum kits. Some of you may find a use for that, not sure. And I have written here that the tempo curves look more sexy. And I wrote that down because that's what I was told. And so just be aware of the sexiness of the new tempo curves. You can't really see it here because there's no tempo curve, but apparently they're sexier. All right, what else we got going on here? If we go back here, we've made some improvements to presets overall. So in modern cinematic, fantasy, and Chinese, you have a new option of using the soft piano rather than just the normal piano. Small change that a few of you requested. We've also made some improvements to existing ensembles within the presets. So the strings across the board should be more balanced for different ensembles, such as pop and jazz and some of the piano and strings ensembles. You should hear more balance between strings and the other instruments. For pop and rock, the extra guitars that you might get in the background will now be played lower. They sounded a bit too thin and pinched in the upper register, so we've lowered those down across the board. And also same for heavy rock melodies. The guitar has been lowered down an octave for the melodies. It just kind of tends to sound a little bit better down there. Also, we've made some improvements to the quality of the audio mock-ups that you hear when you generate a piece. So, for example, more natural release samples, so certain accompaniments might sound a little bit different. The overall sound is less dry, more natural reverb in the samples, smoother legato transitions, and overall we've fixed some bugs such as I think in certain cases you would get some clicks at lower BPMs due to some of those legato transitions, and that should all be fixed. So better audio mockups, and that's it. So what's coming up next? I know you're all wondering. We've got some new instruments coming up that we're going to add, such as solo string instruments, saxophone, a much better saxophone than the one we have. We already have one, but this one I assure you it's going to be better. More jazz instruments, and 2 solo voices, 1 operatic and 1 ethnic sounding. And these will also by proxy mean there will be new ensembles that will accommodate for those new instruments. So for example, you might see some ensembles incorporating those solo strings. Improvements to the rock preset in both the composition and performance of them are coming up. And also, you may have noticed this.
Electronic music preset.
So get pumped for that. And that's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on all of this and go give all this a try. You can email us at feedback@aiva.ai. You can comment on this video, or you can join our Discord server and talk with us and all the other cool kids using AIVA. So we'll have the link for all that below. And thanks for watching.